on. Mark Giordano, the Calgary Flames, joining us here on Tim and Sid. Speaking of free agency and whatnot, 5 Calgary Flame defensemen contracts are coming up, so there could be some interesting times in Calgary. We'll get to that in a second. GL, welcome to the show, man. How are things? Did you watch the Jays game last night? Did you see Derek Fisher play baseball?
I did not, but I've heard a lot about it, actually, over the past few hours. I got to go. I guess I got to go and see, I guess, a couple missed fly balls. But
I mean, you don't have to see it, but I got to ask you, like, as an athlete, Mark Giordano, and a guy who is young and fresh, do you believe, if challenged, because Tim McAuliffe right now is being challenged left and right here about what his ability to make a routine fly ball and right. Do you believe, at this point in your career, you could do that under the lights at Yankee Stadium? Is that something Mark Giordano could accomplish?
I would give myself about a 50% success rate. So I think I'd get one of them. A lot of different factors, though. I think everyone's being hard on him. Lights, a lot of different factors come into play. I think your break on the ball, that sort of stuff. I have to go watch them though, because from what I hear, they look pretty routine, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, there was some routine, but now we know why Mark Giordano won the 2020 Mark Messier Leadership Award, because he is playing, humble and supporting the athlete in the arena, because it's always easier outside the arena than inside the arena. Hey, congrats on winning the Mark Messier Leadership Award. What's it like, before we get into what it means, what's it like to have Mark Messier call you on a Zoom call and tell you that you've won his award?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know what, I think it means a lot more to me than it does maybe some of the young guys in the league who, I grew up and I watched that Ranger team, the 94 team that won the Cup. He was obviously the man there, but like he was, when you think about leadership and everything that comes with it, that's probably the first guy you think of, right? So, and I grew up watching him, so it was pretty cool. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a few times. I was up for this award a few years back too, and just had a good chat with him. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool for me. I'm sure it's pretty cool for a lot of my buddies back home who grew up in the same era as me, watching Mess be the ultimate leader and win 6 Stanley Cups. So it meant a lot for sure.
I think you can agree with me. Messier has a fine haircut.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that the other day. When you know, you got to know when to let it go, right? Yeah. And I think he got ahead of it. So did I. So there's a few of us who hang on for too long, but he definitely has a great haircut for sure.
Yeah. When Messier and Jordan did it, I felt like I was okay to do it. If Jordan and Messier can do it, I can do it.
That's the permission to get it done.
The key is getting ahead of it. So the key is to get ahead of it, right? So nobody knows if you're actually bald or not until you get it done.
See, I'm tweening right now. I have a little patch. I need some help, but the rest is just a flowing like John Stamos locks. Like I feel good, but I do have a little issue there. Mark Giordano here on Tim and Sid. Mark, when you win the Mark Messier Leadership Award, are you required to eat a bag of Lay's potato chips?
You can't just eat one, right?
Can't eat one. You know, you can't eat just one. You can't eat just one. On a more serious note, does Mark Giordano watch the rest of this postseason? Considering how it went, there were a lot of highs, a lot of lows. Are you going to watch the Cup final?
Yeah, you know what? I've been paying attention. I'm not going to lie; it's been kind of tough to watch. I think after what we went through with Dallas, there it felt like we let it slip away. Obviously, we had a good opportunity there in Game 4 to go up 3-1, and they sort of got that game from us and gained a lot of momentum. It's been tough to watch. They've gone on quite the run, and now they're in the final, obviously. So a lot of people have asked if it feels better that you lost the team that went to the finals, and my answer is no. It actually it's more bitter because you feel like you let that opportunity slip away a little bit.
After you left the bubble, did you think that they had it in them to do this?
You know what? I thought their toughest test was going to be Colorado right after us. I thought we had a hard series against them, and I thought, Colorado was a team that we really looked at like a team to beat in the West. And man, to go through them and then get through Vegas, it's pretty impressive. So got to give them a lot of credit. You know what though? I don't think people have given them enough credit throughout this playoffs. They have a really good veteran group there who know what it takes. And I think, guys like Pavelski, guys like Perry who've been there and done it before are really helping them out.
Who was the biggest pain in the ass on that roster to be on the same shift for? Like who was out there and you're like, okay, I'll deal with this again just because I have to, but this is going to be unpleasant. It's going to be unpleasant.
Well, I could answer that two ways. The biggest, the hardest guy that we found to play against was Heiskanen, that's for sure. I think he's been the MVP of the playoffs. But I'll go with Jamie Benn. I think he's just a guy that, again, another guy who's been around for a long time, plays the game really, really hard. And, I know people get on him sometimes when he's not putting up the goals and assists they think he should, but, getting out there on the ice and playing against him, he's one of the guys that really have a lot of respect for in the league.
Yeah, he wears people down. As you can see in that series, I think he scored in each of the last 3 games, and then he gets that rally going to end it off. We also heard some news from Calgary about the interim label being dropped from your head coach, Jeff Ward. What was your reaction to the news that he would be the 20th head coach in franchise history?
Yeah, I think myself and my teammates, I can speak for my teammates, I think here, everyone was super excited. I think, sometimes, like you said, from the outside, people don't realize how tight or how close we became as a group in the bubble. I know it was a disappointing end to our season, but I thought we took a lot of great steps this year, and I think Wardle deserves a lot of credit for really bringing our group together. Really, we rallied around him, and you know what? I think we're really looking forward to next year. I think we want to build off of we think we took a small step here, but we think we did a lot of good things that hopefully will carry over into next year. And Wardle deserves a lot of credit for sure.
Mark Giordano of the Calgary Flames here on Tim and Sid. Let's talk a little about next year, whenever that actually begins. Again, you got 5 guys on the blue line on this roster that are UFAs. And listen, Brad Treliving, we're anticipating being kind of aggressive here. He's never been shy about that in the past. And you guys won a series, but the way it ended, obviously, there's still kind of an empty feeling. What kind of an offseason do you anticipate? Obviously, you don't make those decisions, but are you bracing for change? Is that where you're at right now?
Yeah, for sure. I think realistically, we're all professional, and we know that we haven't had the success that we believe we should have in the last few years here. So I think you put that and together with the fact that the cap is staying flat, and like you said, we have so many free agents, there's going to be change. I mean, every year there's change, but it looks like it's setting up for it to be a busy off season for a lot of teams. So yeah, we're realistic. As a teammate and as a friend, you hope nobody goes, but we know change is coming in some form, and you don't brace for it, but you expect that something's going to happen here in the next few months for sure.
Mark Giordano here on Tim and Sid. Again, Mark, the oddity here is, and we're seeing, there was a trade just now between the Wild and Buffalo. The business is still happening, but no one knows what the start of next season is going to look like. Yeah. And Bill Daly just recently pretty much left everything on the table, from going to arenas with limited crowds, if local health officials allow it, to maybe setting up 4 bubbles. You were just in a bubble. You tell us, would you prefer not to ever do that again? Or are you realistic enough to say, listen, if it means the start of our season at some level for 20 games, I can maybe try that again?
Yeah, so I'm like, my point of view is like, I'd like to play 80 games next year, like the full schedule if we can. However that works out. If we have to go into a bubble for the first little bit, I would absolutely do it. I know there's a lot of guys who wouldn't and don't agree with me, but I would much rather do that than a compressed, say, half a season or 50 games or 60 games. So I would much rather play 80, the full schedule. preference-wise, I mean, we'd all prefer to have the building full with your fans and be able to have a regular schedule, but I don't know. It's not really realistic right now with the way the world is. Depends which news station you watch. So some days, there's a vaccine coming out in November, and then you watch a different news station and it's saying it's not coming out till next summer. So, I mean, I don't know. Just for me, I guess being a little bit older and I guess wanting to squeeze the most I can out of this game, I'd much prefer to play a full season next year, however which way we can do that.
Mark Giordano here on Tim and Sid. I got one more for you about leadership, and I still have some pretty good friends who work pretty high up in the game, and I talked to a kid or two about what they need to do, kind of from the media side of things. And whenever a kid asks me about a draft or where they're ranked, I bring you up, like undrafted OHL, undrafted NHL, Norris Trophy winner, Mark Messier Award winner. Like, I think it's unbelievable what you've been able to accomplish. Do you think that grind gives you a different appreciation for what you have? Like, was leadership and work ethic always something you had, or is it learned?
I mean, I think I always had a passion, and I still have a passion for the game, and I think that's stuck with me. I think sometimes, not to knock anyone, but when it comes a little bit easier and you're, a high pick or, the best player on your team throughout your life, I think it could go away. That passion could go away earlier, and I think maybe that's the reason why I've played a little bit later into my career or longer than some guys. But I've always had that passion, and when it comes to playing hockey, it doesn't seem like a job to me at all. It seems I love going to the rink still. I love being around my teammates. So that's the one thing I always say to young kids or guys who ask me questions about that. I always say, if you have that desire and that passion, just don't never to quit or never give up. Just keep going. I mean, that's what I did, and eventually I developed maybe a little bit later than some guys, but eventually you put the work in and you put the time in, and I think it pays off. So I think that's one thing that stuck with me is the desire to play. I think some guys lose that, in their 30s or early 30s or mid 30s, but I still really enjoy playing the game and really enjoy going to the rink.
That last answer, as we say goodbye here, is just a morsel of why our guest was given the Mark Messier Leadership Award for 2020. And I could say this because I haven't handed out the 2020 version, the reigning Norris Trophy winner in the National Hockey League, because they technically haven't given it out yet. So I'm going to stick with that. He is Mark Giordano. He is the captain of the Calgary Flames. Mark, you have an open invite anytime, man. We really appreciate when you're coming on. And take care, and hopefully we see you on a sheet of ice soon and maybe with some fans in the stands. That'd be nice.
Okay. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Be well.